Good morning, guys. I'm just outside the hotel taking a quick walk after breakfast. Today's the day we're playing Hungary, third match of the FIDE Olympiad, and the most important one so far. I will play the game, which you're allowed to know since you're watching this after the game, and I will play on board 4 with the black pieces. So I'm gonna have a pretty tough time against an opponent around 2600, probably Gledura or Berkish. So let's see how it goes, and I will of course see you still a bit later and give you an update on how the preparation is going. What I forgot to mention before is that it's currently raining here, and that might be a bit of a problem because the transfer buses are always a bit far to walk than to the playing hall. When you arrive there is some parking, and then you need to walk like 5 to 10 minutes. So you could bring like a raining jacket if you brought one, which fortunately I did. But the bigger issue is that in the playing hall, the bathrooms for the players are kind of outside, so you have to walk, I don't know, like 15 meters, I guess, outside to the bathroom. And from what I've read is that it's not allowed to bring umbrellas to the playing hall. So I think if it's raining during the game, that many players will just be super wet when they go to the bathroom from all the rain. So that's a bit of an issue. I hope they will somehow resolve it, especially if it's not allowed to bring umbrellas to the game. It's also a bit strange to have to bring an umbrella if you want to go to the bathroom. But yeah, we'll see how they do it. Hopefully it will not rain too much during the game, but I guess we'll see. And yeah. I just got back from my game. It was a pretty tough day at the office today. I played pretty badly, I would say. I forgot the opening, how to play correctly, and then later on I just had a bad position, I believe, and the game ended pretty fast therefore. But yeah, my opponent played really well, so it's just purely my fault for losing. I did not see how my other teammates played. Only board 2 already finished in a draw, so I really hope that we won't lose the match just because of me. That's always a pretty tough feeling, but yeah, let's see how it goes. And of course now I'll just try to get my mind off of things and maybe go to the gym or go to the sauna. So yeah, I'll just try to forget about the game, and yeah, but I will see you later in the recap, of course, as usual. Hi guys, one more update. It's currently 9 p.m. and all the other games ended in draws. So yeah, I'm kind of like the black sheep today. It's always, of course, it's nice if you can win like the decisive game like yesterday, but it's much worse if you are the one to lose and then your team loses because of it. So I feel pretty bad about it, but there's nothing I can do about it now. Now I know, or I will know once I do the recap, what I did wrong in the opening, and it hopefully won't happen again. So yeah, there's of course always something to learn, and yeah, just wanted to give you an update on how the match ended, and I will then see you in the recap. What's up, guys, and welcome to the chess section of today's recap. So let's have a look. As I've already mentioned, I lost my game, unfortunately, and yeah, also the team lost now. All of the other games have been drawn, so I'm kind of like the black sheep today, which is quite unfortunate. I feel really bad for the team, but yeah, there's nothing I can do about it now. My opponent played really well, and I didn't, so that's all there is to say. And let's have a look. So he played e4, which surprised me. Usually he goes for, at least in most games, he goes for d4, knight f3 in the first move. But I still had some preparation after knight f3, knight c6, my main opening, and after bishop b5 I went for the Berlin defense, so I tried to stay very solid here. And he went for d3, which again, this is what I totally didn't expect. I think he never played like this before. Of course, I still knew some theory here, but it was already a bit unpleasant because I thought that he might have some preparation in mind. So yeah, that was also not a great start to the game, I would say. I went bishop c5, we're following the main line. He took on c6, d takes c6, and now knight takes c5 doesn't work because of queen d4, and black would win a piece because of the double attack. He went knight d2, which is still
one of the main moves next to short castle. Those are the two main moves for white here. So knight d2, and now I went bishop e6, which in hindsight I think wasn't a smart decision at all. I always went for this line with knight d7 here, which I also know best. But again, here I was afraid of some preparation. But in hindsight, it's just a very good line for black, and I don't think there's, even if he has some small idea, maybe I'll be slightly worse, but it will be just a game to play. And yeah, of course, after the game, it's always easier to say what went wrong. But yeah, I think this would have been a much smarter decision. I went bishop e6, which I also checked briefly before the tournament, but later on I realized that I didn't check it carefully enough because I forgot how to proceed in the critical variation which he played. I played castle. Still, I want to mention knight takes e5 doesn't work because of queen d4, again with the double attack. So he went short castle, and now bishop d6. Here, yeah, knight d7 being the other move, but bishop d6 I still knew. And yeah, he went for knight b3, which is the critical move. d4 is another variation, but here black is fine after the important knight d7. D takes e5, knight takes e5, takes f4, and this I still remembered after king h1, f5 is important, and black is fine here. Obviously I cannot take because of e5 and white would win a piece here, just to mention that. So he went knight b3, which is the critical move, and here I went for a5, still knowing that this was my preparation. b6 is also one move which again might have been smarter in hindsight, but yeah, I knew that a5 was my preparation, so I just went for it. Queen e1, also still part of his prep, he was blitzing out everything. a4. So again, with knight b3, his plan is to play knight a5, where the knight is placed pretty well, attacking both of these pawns. So this is his whole plan. a5 intending a4, queen e1 now, and now a4 anyway, and now knight a5. Now he got this, and now I don't have the problem that I cannot move this pawn here because the pawn on c6 is always hanging, and it's not so easy to defend the pawn on b7 in a nice way. I went queen c8, which is now the wrong move. Yeah, I spent 15 minutes almost here because I knew that either queen c8 or queen b8 are the moves here, but I just couldn't figure it out on the board what is the correct move, and I went for the incorrect move, of course, with queen c8. The point we will see shortly now after knight g5 what he played. Now he always has some f4 ideas, and with the queen on b8 I always have queen a7 check. So queen b8 would have been the correct move, and b4 was this was the line I somewhat remembered. Castle, knight g5, rook e8, and here black is supposed to be okay. Still playable for white, but this was my preparation. Now I checked it, now I know that this is what I actually prepared. But queen c8, now knight g5, and now I cannot really castle because he takes on e6, and I have to recapture with the pawn, and now my pawn structure is just really bad. And yeah, of course I don't want this, and queen e6 fails to knight takes b7, and white is just a clear pawn up. So I went bishop d7. Here also bishop g4 would have been probably better. And after h3 now bishop h5, but during the game somehow I did not really think about this. Again, with queen on b8 this would be much better, because now after f4 white could fight for some advantage probably, and with the queen on b8 I always have queen a7 check with the double attack on the knight and the king. So yeah, bishop d7, now knight c4, a good move by him, short castle, and now f4, and now I was already under a lot of pressure here. I played bishop c5 check. If he takes f4, he can just take here and take on f4, and I'm just super passive here. I thought about this with, I think it was starting with h6, knight f3, and now d5. But okay, now I even see that bishop h6 is already winning, apparently, according to the computer, with some big attack coming here. I also thought during the game just e5 and knight h7, something like this, queen g3, and then he will probably double his rooks on the f file. I thought that I'm in a very unpleasant situation here, but it's interesting to see that bishop h6 is already winning here. Very surprising. Yeah, I went for bishop c5 check, not to allow him this knight takes d6 option. Now I took, and e takes f4, rook takes f4, and now I just have this problem with my pawn structure first of all, and also that my pieces are just pretty passive overall. I went h6, now knight f3, knight g4. I thought this was still the best try, because if he takes now, I'm somewhat solid. If I can exchange the bishop for the knight, I'm probably even equalizing. and this bishop otherwise can drop back to e6 when I'm pretty solid here. But he went for knight f5, which is a super strong move, and now after bishop f5, otherwise my knight is just trapped on g4, and I cannot go back to f6 because of knight takes h6. Bishop f5, rook f5, and now rook e8 was already the final mistake. Now my knight on g4 is just misplaced. I should have gone for something ugly like queen d8 or queen e6, and then drop back with the knight to f6 when I'm still somewhat alive. But yeah, he will double the rooks on the f file somehow. For example, he can start with h3, knight f6, then place the queen to, let's say, g3. Pawn on c7 is also weak. He will just double his rooks. I think this position, at least practically speaking, is also very, very hard for black to play. Yeah, I went rook e8 with the threat now of queen takes f5. So after h3, I thought that I'm maybe even equalizing after rook e1, knight f6. And if rook e7, I thought I have knight d5 and then king f8, which now maybe runs to knight e5, I'm just seeing. Yeah, but maybe I can go rook c8 first, also knight e5. Now rook e8. This seems like it's maybe equalizing, yeah. So I thought I have some chances to equalize here at least, but of course he did not go for this. And he went queen g3, which I totally underestimated. I thought I have knight e3 with some counterplay with the double attack here, but now he found knight d4, which is just completely shocking to me. Now my knight on e3 is hanging and it's trapped, so I have to take the exchange. And after knight f5, again, I'm forced to play g6, and now another move, which I then only saw when he played it, was rook f1 first. I only saw knight h6 when I thought I'm still kind of alive after king f8. At least I can maybe consolidate somehow and life might go on. But if he starts with rook f1, I don't have this option. And yeah, I have nowhere to go with my king. If now king f8, now he simply gets a better version with knight h6. I have to protect the f7 pawn with rook e7 and queen g6, and I'm just completely lost here. There's mate on f7 and mate on g8 coming, so this is just game over. I also briefly thought about king h7, and then I saw that he has knight d6 here. And after takes, rook f7, king h8, queen takes g6, and it's just mate in the next move, either queen g7 or queen h7. So brilliant idea by him with knight d4 and then also rook f1. I tried queen d8 still, but now he just took on f7, played queen h3, queen e3, and I allowed him the checkmate since he played just a fantastic game with h3, and yeah, here the game was over. So obviously I'm not really happy about how the game went. In hindsight, it's always easier to say what went wrong. I think this was just a bad opening decision since I was not fully ready for this line. Should have just gone for my classical way of playing this line with knight d7. And yeah, after that he just played really good, and yeah, this move queen c8, already here I was not feeling very well because I was just under some pressure. I wasn't sure how to play the position, and he was obviously very well prepared. But yeah, with queen b8 I might have had a better chance to get a fighting game. But yeah, there's nothing I can do now. Hope for better games in the rest of the tournament. And yeah, thank you for watching, of course, and thank you for the support. It's always nice to see in the comment section that everyone is cheering for the team and for me specifically. So that's always really nice to see. I hope you still enjoy these sorts of recaps. Even after a loss, I try to make it, which is not so easy, but still great fun for me, of course, and especially to see that that you guys also enjoy it. So thank you for your support, thank you for watching, and see you in the recap tomorrow.